Starting off today, this is 10th University. We created this podcast to find those rare people that do incredible things in the business world along with their real lives. And today we got a special one. She's the author, entrepreneur, creator, mother, owner of Makolaa and Makolaa Media House. No other than Miss Sika.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So you was my first referral in Dallas. Cam was like, hey, I know somebody you got to check out, you know. She's launching a product soon, and I wanted to talk about that. So, but first off, let's talk about you being an author. What inspires you to get writing?
Well, it's funny. I've always been a writer. I was actually kind of noted in my grade in elementary school as a gifted writer. So that's something that's always been in me. I never thought like I would actually write a book. I did a lot of poetry. But as I got older, just thinking of different things of really leaving a legacy, that's something I'm big on. What can I pass on to my kids, grandchildren, great-grandchildren? Something tangible that they can hold on to and say that this is what mommy and grandmama did, right? So writing a book is something that kind of fell into place with that. That's a goal I set out for myself last year, and got it done by December, you know, just at the nick of time, but I did it. So
I seen that. I was doing my little deep search on you, and I was like, wait a minute, she writes books too? And I looked at it, I was like, this is, you know, it's not no picture book, like this is 216 pages.
Yeah, and it's not ChatGPT. I wrote it, so yeah, it was good.
But yeah, I want to talk about your background. So you have some African roots. I just want to know, did that like influence you or help you in the entrepreneurial world?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, all Black people, we come from Africa, right? I think entrepreneurship is something that's ingrained in us. It's in our DNA. So I grew up seeing my mom. She was my first example of an entrepreneur. She had a side hustle before I knew what a side hustle was. She's a teacher, now a principal, but on the weekends, our basement turned into a mini hair salon. She was doing hair, braiding hair back to back. And she actually noticed that by the age of 12, I was able to braid hair quickly. So she really nurtured that gift in me. I didn't think anything of it. I was just doing what she did. So she allowed me to have some of her clients do their hair. They trusted me at 12 years old, and thankfully I understood the assignment. I delivered, they looked good, and that's where I started to do hair for other people as well. That's something I started again around 12 and did that all through college, a little bit after college in my graduate degree program as well. But just even with that bug that she put in me, my parents were really good about noticing any gifts that I had and kind of nurturing that. So things like typing, they saw that I was a fast typer, so they would give me, my mom as a teacher would give me all her assignments to type. Other things, just anything I could find that I'm good at, I wanted to monetize that. I kind of became feverish in finding anything I can make money out of. My name means money, so I always laugh that, you know, I'm just attracting myself, but I really just love using my hands and creating something.
Wait a minute, you said Sika? What does that mean?
Money.
Means money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Money or gold, depending on if you're talking to a Ghanaian or a Togolese, but yeah. So so that's really how the entrepreneurship bug started in me, and just not relying on a system to have my sustenance, I think. And I think another kind of pivotal moment in my life, looking back now, I realized it older. When I was younger, my dad, you know, coming from Africa, Nigeria to this country, he was in a position where there were two white women who made false allegations, and that cost him his job. So I saw how relying on a system can take away your livelihood, can take away and strip you of your self-esteem and everything like that. So I knew that I could not be in that position. So I think that's also is really why I'm really passionate about entrepreneurship. Anything you can make money from, nobody can take that from you. So that's what I really want our people to really tap into and do.
I feel really strongly about that as well, because I went through that, something similar to that, in a sense that just losing jobs, you know, getting burned out, losing jobs, and I'm scraping, getting credit card debt, and I'm just like, man, I can't not lose a job and go down to zero. That's what made me want to, you know, focus on entrepreneurship. But that's beautiful. You got a important family there.
Yeah, they are. They built me to who I am today. So.
And your mom, you talked about your mom. That reminded me of my mom. I'm like, she started off making her own lip balm, making her own lotion, doing Mary Kay as her side hustle. She was a teacher as well, and she taught Spanish of all things. Didn't teach me Spanish, but hey, come on,
I
mom.
don't speak French. I don't speak French, so
But yeah, yeah.
cool. She needs to be on Makolaa. Does she still make lip balms and things?
No, not as much. She an electrician now, so she's doing it all, you know. So yeah. But yeah, so your book is about young entrepreneurs. I mean, new entrepreneurs and like educating them. If you could talk about what motivated you to start that for entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So I think it started really with the birth of Makolaa. So Makolaa is a marketplace. It's a Black-owned marketplace for really uniting the global Black nation via culture, commerce, and community. There's a lot of divide with us, you know, here in the diaspora and on the continent. And one thing that would really lead to our total economic advancement is coming together and doing group economics. So that's really the mission behind Makolaa. And Makolaa started in 2020. Again, another period when a lot of people lost their jobs and people were just tapping into their gifts, tapping into old hobbies, monetizing that. And I was finding all these cool things that people were doing, and I'm like, where can I buy it? And they were each giving me their own individual website. So I'm like, we need a place, one place where we can go and know that we're buying directly from verified Black-owned businesses. So that's where Makolaa came from. And Makolaa is even important. The name, it means the child who brings wealth home. So it comes from a Yoruba adage, and I feel like with Black people, we've made many other nations wealthy. We've given our bodies building things, we've given our intellect, we've invented most things, even if they want to slap another face on it. And also our intellect and our resources coming from the continent. We supply most of the things that we use today. So the child bringing wealth home means that we need to make sure that home is good. And that's really where, again, that group economics, having a central location where we can do business amongst ourselves, an ecosystem, that's really where that came in. So with Black people, you know, we don't have an issue making money. We can always get to the bag. But what do we do? Listen, and spend it. But what do we do with that money? We don't invest. We own the least amount of wealth compared to every other ethnic group. So the Makolaa Media House came in more so for the education component.
We're gonna get to that part too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, and then you asked why the book. So all of that was just together. I wanted everything packaged together. The book is Now You're the Boss, a complete playbook for new entrepreneurs. It takes you from the ideation phase all the way to properly structuring your business, how to grow your business, get funding.
What's ideation? What's that
Ideation,
phase?
just if you have an idea, like I want to get into entrepreneurship, but I don't know what to do. So look at what you're good at. Look at what people come to you for help or advice and things on like that. So that's kind of indications of what you're naturally gifted in and what you may be successful in business with. So that's really where the book came in. And I love the book because it's not just a self-help book of starting a business, but taking it a step further. How do we actually build generational wealth? That's something that a lot of people are talking about, but they don't talk about how to actually do that. It starts with education. It starts with creating a culture around money and finances in your family. Most millionaires and wealth that's passed on, that wealth is gone. 70% of it is gone by the second generation, and 90% is gone by the third. So there's a gap in the communication and the education piece. So
I think some mindset too, because
and mindset,
I thought about it. I was like, if I had to build an entrepreneur, I might start with a couple of key books that like really influenced me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you ever heard? I know you heard Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was
what got me into real
that you
estate.
too?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
me too.
That one and Cash Flow Quadrant. Have you read that one?
I've just watched the video.
Okay, I mean that's a good one too. So yeah, definitely.
I understand it though. Moving from the self-employed side to the business side, he was talking about.
And the investor side, that's where the money comes in, and passive income. Yeah. Yep. So.
Wanted to talk about one other thing. Since you're always around entrepreneurs, do you know any like common mistakes that they're making?
Yeah, I think I can only speak for us,
Okay.
skin folk. We like to do things ourselves. We don't like to really tap into the community aspect and the resources that are available. I think, we love to put our name on things. We love to say that we came up on our own, but we can go further faster when we join with other people who are walking in the same path as us. So I think that's a big thing that we're missing is actually tapping into resources. I think we're wasting a lot of time doing things, making mistakes that if we just glean information from others, get mentors. That's another thing. I think we really need to be getting mentors and advisors, people who are in similar fields as us who can guide us. And again, that just shortens the learning curve. So I would say those are the main big things.
I'm glad you said that because I had just joined a Patreon of shout out to Stretch Life. Interviewed him the first season, and he's like the best photographer I know, videographer as well. And I was like, I'm learning so much from him for free. I was like, I might as well tap in, and like that upped my game even more, just being around his community.
And it's good that you found value before you purchase into that, because I think a lot of people everybody now has a course, everybody has a program, things like that, that they're pushing for people to buy into, but you need to vet the person first and make sure that you're actually getting any value before you actually invest. So, yeah.
One more thing. So the marketplace. So how does the marketplace help support Black-owned businesses? I know it hasn't started yet, but how are you planning on it to support people?
Yeah, well, it started. So we're open now for our sellers. So sellers are able to join on, create their stores, load their products, and we're launching in about 3 weeks for shoppers. So our official launch is in about 3 weeks. But it's basically having a central location. I mentioned before, a trusted ecosystem where we know that, hey, if we're shopping on Makolaa, I'm shopping directly from a Black-owned business. So we're not the middleman. We just created the platform. You're actually doing business directly with the local and small business. So just having a single place where we can find each other, that's half the battle. A lot of people, we don't know that we're out here. Businesses are out here. So if we cut that out, just shop on anything that you're looking to get, books, literature, creams, herbs, anything like that, it's on Makolaa. So.
How long have you been thinking about this? Like, has it been like years? You be like, I want to do this, and now it's finally coming into fruition?
Yeah, it absolutely. This has been a 5-year-old baby. I've been carrying for 5 years. It started in 2020. That's when the idea came. Again, with COVID, everybody having their own stores for their products. So I've started working on it in 2020. I've had crazy web developers who just didn't understand the front end and back end coding. This is not a WordPress site that you just put a bunch of apps on. It actually needs coding from the ground up. So I've gone through like 3 different web developers who each took a year of my life and my money. But finally, I'm with a really good, solid web architect who is building it. He's doing the thing, and we're launching soon. So that's exciting.
That's awesome. So let's talk about the media house, and what you talked briefly about what inspired it, but I feel like that's almost like your nonprofit business.
Yeah, you could think of it like that. We could turn it into that. It's still being formed. Right now, it's just blog articles of different things. So the Media House, the goal of that is to teach entrepreneurs how to grow and scale their businesses, and then also build wealth. So all of the topic areas are around mindset, startup essentials, growth essentials, anything.
And a podcast. I seen that. Was it Common Sense? I looked at that. I watched the whole episode. I was like, "This is so good!" Like I couldn't leave it. I was like, I think the guy was talking about his sacrifices he made. Shacking up, getting 2 other roommates, and I think it even had a bunk bed. And I was like, okay, the commitment is on another level.
We got to make these dreams come to life. So, the podcast it's under the Media House. Common Sense, we're really just interviewing different entrepreneurs, hearing about their financial struggles and their financial, triumphs as well, and just really trying to glean information. Again, just cutting out that the learning curve for people, just so that they can avoid any mistakes and skyrocket their business faster. So, yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you this one question. Since we're both entrepreneur fanatics, I wanted you to, say if you can go to lunch with any entrepreneur, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
My female crush right now is Fawn Weaver. She is one of 5 Black women to build $1 billion company. And she actually just purchased the largest cognac vineyard in France as a Black woman. So she's definitely my inspiration. And she's also a Christian. I'm a believer. So just seeing that she's not able to compromise her faith. and she's also moving up in higher levels. That's something that's really inspiring to me. So, yeah.
All right, one thing that we ask all our guests is what is one way that you help serve people? So for me, it's creating this podcast, having a way to give back and talk to people and make entrepreneurship normal, you know? But for you, what would you say is your one way that you help serve people?
Yeah. To serve people, one thing I love to do is just pour into people and their passions. So that's even part of Makolaa. Like, if anybody tells me that they're starting something, I'm probably the most excited person. Like, you would think that I'm the one making the business myself, but I love to just offer that support. My mission is to help make millionaires in the Black community. One of the avenues that is really untapped in our community is life insurance. I know that's not really, it's not sexy, it's not popular, but that's really how not just millionaires, but big banks are also shuffling their money into high value cash policies. So, and that's something that's guaranteed.
Are you familiar with how the life insurance process goes?
I am. So I'm actually a licensed agent. So I got my license for that purpose to help give that knowledge back to our community. I'm in a family where some people are underinsured, and we're seeing that impact. So life insurance is the only institution that's actually guaranteed to pay. So depending on how much your death benefit is, when you pass, God forbid, but when you pass, that money is guaranteed to pay. So you're guaranteed to give people, whoever beneficiaries you've established, money, right? So no GoFundMe's, no begging and things like that. We actually need to start being strategic with our dollars as well.
I think my sister had told me one time it was like wealth generation is created through death.
Yes, absolutely.
And the biggest burden or leaning on the backbone in the family, you could just, bless the family more.
Exactly. It's called love insurance. I call it love insurance, not life insurance. So, yeah.
This is a kind of trick question. Is there a way with life insurance that you can take from that policy?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think there's a lot. It's called infinite banking. It's a concept that you probably heard online. There's a few misconceptions with it. People think they can put like $100, $200 and have it be funded where they can start drawing out. And especially with the infinite banking concept, whatever cash value your policy accumulates, you can take a loan from that. So you're becoming your own bank. You don't have to go credit cards. If you're talking about credit card debt.
Or 401k, getting taxed for that.
Absolutely. So you can borrow from your cash value. The interest you're paying yourself. So rather than paying that to a bank, you're paying yourself the interest. And the onus is really on you to pay yourself back. If you pass without paying yourself back, that money that is just going to be subtracted from your death benefit. So you still want to be responsible in paying yourself back. But that is how a lot of businesses start up. A lot of people borrow from their life insurance policies, investments, things like that. Anything for cash flow, you can access that with your policy. So
okay, is that because I know so little about it, so I feel like I'm like the viewer. I'm asking viewer questions. But is that like term or is that whole that you can do that, or is that either one?
So it's with a permanent policy. So term insurance is great if you kind of are tight on cash, but you want some coverage, right? So term only lasts you 10 to 30 years, depending on what you have, but it's cheaper, right? So permanent policies are you're going to be able to do that cash value with. The two types are whole life insurance and index universal life insurance. There's also universal life, but and this can be personal preference, but I do prefer an IUL for the cash value, the infinite banking concept, just because you're not locked into a particular rate for the year, as with your whole life. You can really ride the benefit, and a benefit with the index also is you don't lose any money. So if the market crashes, the market dips, your money, you just don't earn anything for that year. But when it's going up, then your money's growing with it.
That's a wealth building strategy that not many people know about. I appreciate you sharing that. But is there anything else you would like to talk about or have upcoming that you want to talk about?
Not upcoming. Well, absolutely upcoming, the launch of Makolaa. So we're launching, again, like I said, in 3 weeks. So right now, if you sell products, anything really, you can create your own storefront. There's no cost to join. And there's a very nominal, less than 8% fee that the platform retains from each sale. But you can join the community, help grow and support black businesses and just join the movement.
Okay, it's been a pleasure getting you on, stepping out of your busy day. And, I learned a lot just from you. And, we got to do something more. We got to
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me.